The name Christopher Linton brought fear to a lot of people in Jamaica. Now, Christopher Linton, who was known better by his nickname Paw Dog, was said to have been the unquestioned gang leader that held a stronghold on Jamaican communities like Papine, Lintire, Tavern, and Augustown. Paw Dog quickly set himself apart from other notorious gangsters as he placed an emphasis on education, intelligent, cunning, shrewd, ruthless, and a natural leader. Paw Dog quickly gained loyalists either through fear or promises of taking his men from poverty and into prosperity, i.e. riches. Now, Paw Dog attended Jamaican College, where it was said that he quickly established a ragtag gang. Paw Dog bulldozed his way through anyone, rivals and the like. If he didn't like you, he would threaten you and then begin to have scraps that mostly ended when his rivals gave up. Such his hold on the students in Jamaica College that Paw Dog was expelled for his behaviour. So, Christopher Linton then enrolled in Dunoon. His reputation and leadership qualities followed him, and Paw Dog set up another gang, doing exactly the same thing. Now, Paw Dog was ultimately expelled once again. Now, Christopher Linton was an opportunist, so when notorious Jamaican gangster Joel Andem was arrested and then jailed for 20 plus years on multiple shootings and extortions, Christopher Linton moved in on those territories, like Augustown, Papine and Mudtown. Quickly, Paw Dog was becoming self-assured, aided with loyalists like Romain Diddy Richards. The men were safeguarding their authorities. They had GUNs, safe houses, and were extorting other businessmen and rivals. And, to be honest, there was nothing that anybody could do about it, because Christopher Linton was aligned with socialites. To some people, Paw Dog was an ally, a champion of the community, but to the wider Jamaican people, Paw Dog and his dangerous gang were an unruly problem. So, it was no surprise that murder, attempted murder, kidnap, extortion became the norm, and Paw Dog quickly became a major interest to police. Now, the police accused Paw Dog of orchestrating a shootout in Bedwood Gardens, an area known as Alley 4 in Kingston, that involved an army of up to 50 triggermen with rifles, kicking down the front door, then spraying the house with ammo, and then burning it, leaving a family of 3 inside. Ultimately, they died. The victims were 50-year-old Maris Hilton, who was a bus driver, 31-year-old Diana Forbes, and her 6-year-old son, Jaheim McKay. Now, police described the victims as being charred, unrecognisable. When police launched a very high-octane investigation into the gang of Jamaica's Most Wanted Man, at the height of the investigation, police offered a reward of £250,000, £250,000, for information that would lead to Paw Dog's capture. Now, police worked hard, making capturing Paw Dog their number one priority, gathering intel by going through the communities and using informants to find the 24-year-old Christopher Linton's whereabouts. They knew he was in the house hiding out with 2 women, but they didn't know where, because he kept moving around from safe house to safe house. In the meantime, police pressed members of Paw Dog's own gang, arresting members like 25-year-old Yannick Machel Ellis, who was also known as Slim Shady, and Donald Lalou Allen, who was known as Matchless. The 2 men were charged and then jailed for the triple murder in Bedwood Gardens. Paw Dog, seeing the members of his gang receive jail sentences, life, he was in panic mode. In 2011, Paw Dog wrote a letter to the police explaining he was innocent. Police sent messages back to Paw Dog to let him know if he's innocent, he could turn himself in for questioning and they would guarantee his safety. Now, Paw Dog was eventually found at a house in Eddiston Flats. In the same property, police also found a 9mm pistol. Soon, the charges began to pile up on Christopher Linton. It was alleged that Paw Dog and his mate, Mika Allen, had fired at police officers, 2 of them, who were travelling in a police car along Tavern Drive in St Andrews, April 2010. Now, the 2 men denied all allegations, but Christopher and Micah were jailed for 15 years for possession of a pistol and 15 years for the shooting with intent on law enforcement. Paw Dog once again claimed his innocence and continued to appeal his case while he sat in jail. Now, Paw Dog would spend 7 years in jail before finally being released and having his convictions ultimately squashed. Police attempted to charge Paw Dog for the Bedwood Gardens crime as well, but that case too was dropped. And in 2021, Paw Dog got the crime overturned. However, things took a drastic turn. In June 2021, when Christopher Linton was among a group of 4 people, they had been shot by rivals. Now, since Christopher's release, he struggled with the new landscape in the gang and crime culture. Younger gangsters were fully equipped with the same guns that he had and did not accept Christopher's rule, and they had their own firepower to negate his threats. Now, it was alleged that Christopher and his men were shot at the Cane River area of Bull Bay, and just 3 months later, a little less than 90 days, Christopher Linton, aka Paw Dog, was shot and killed by police at roughly 2 p.m. in the afternoon on October 11th, 2021. Police had attempted to pull over the travelling car that was travelling to Alliston Flats again in St Andrews. Intel suggested that Paw Dog was travelling with GUNs, so police pulled the car over, commanded the car to stop. It was alleged that Christopher then exited the car and began to fire at the police, so police returned fire and Christopher Linton was shot and he was killed. He was declared dead a short time later. At the time of his murder, he left behind a 10-year-old son that he had with a socialite. When news came out that Paw Dog had finally been killed, celebratory shots rang out through garrisons. At the time, nobody wanted to admit it for fear that Paw Dog would come for them, but the fact of the matter is Paw Dog was a notorious gangster and criminal, and people were so afraid of him that they could not speak their mind. So of course, when that threat was gone, they were happy. Stay safe, safe.